Hello everyone, today. Get out of the camera! Get out! Today we will be showing every single gnome in Yeeps Hide and Seek. Now, some of these are really rare. Some of these are really common. I'll be showing every gnome. Let's go. Now, by the way, if I do put these out of order, I'm sorry, but here is the first ever gnome, I'm pretty sure. The first ever gnome was the classic gnome. He will be named Bob. That's what I'm gonna name him. So that's Bob, and he was the first ever gnome. I don't know if I'll get this one right, but I'm pretty sure that this was the second, like the other gnome in the game. The butt coin stash gnome. Now these have a different thing to them, because like when you press the button, the gnomes thing, like the thing that they wear on their heads, it pops up and it shows its eyes. Now we're going on to the next gnome. The next gnome was this mermaid gnome. It's a pretty old gnome. It came out in July. Wait, no, I'm getting them confused. So this, I'll be right back. So now the next ever gnome before the mermaid gnome was this graduate gnome. He is from the App Lab 24 update, and I even have the App Lab 24 block. And then here is the block right before the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid? That's no! It's this block. Now you might be thinking it's the same exact block, but this one has like a butt coin stash on it, if you can see. So yeah, this would pop up and then it would show its eyes. Now the next one is the mermaid one. So the mermaid one is just a mermaid. It has like a mermaid tail, and then that's basically it. But then they added a butt coin stash. No. Now this one was pretty rare too. Well, is pretty rare still. So that's the next one. And now the next one, we start getting newer updates. So the next gnome is actually a gnome that you can own, which is right here. Now he might look like a garbage can, kind of, like, or now we're getting into the event gnomes. So the next gnome was actually, it's pretty old right now, actually. And it's this gnome right here. The Halloween jack-o'-lantern gnome. Now, he's a pretty cool one, and I like him a lot, mostly because Halloween is my favorite holiday. But here's the next gnome, which is a pretty cool gnome, too. It's a trick-or-treat gnome, and he has like a bag. And then the next gnome is one of the best gnomes in the game, the witch gnome. No, I'm joking. I hate the witch gnome. So yeah, I don't like that gnome that much. It's just, I don't really like witches for some reason. But like, here comes my favorite gnome in the game, the ghost gnome. I love this one. And he also makes a ghost noise, like, and stuff. And then here for the witch, it makes like a laughing noise, which I'm pretty sure that was the first gnome that ever made noises. And then here's the next gnome. Now you might be thinking, it's just a regular gnome. How is it different? Well, if we grab something from the wired section, and we put him right here, and then he has red glowing eyes. Now I could take this away and it would go away. But like, you could also do it with a button. Here, I'm gonna try to make something scary that I do in my series. So it's like that right now. But then I could also do this, which makes it pretty cool. And so that's the next gnome. We'll put one of these under him for now, so that Yeah. Alright, so that's the next gnome. And I actually have even rarer version of that gnome right here. The void gnome with glowing eyes. Now we're getting into the final gnome of the Halloween update. And that is one of the rarest gnomes in the game. Alright everyone, here is the rarest gnome in the game, I think. The mummy gnome. Now, this was handed out by Nathan, one of the developers of this game, and I'm pretty sure he only passed it out to like maybe 10 people, but then it got duped and then it got put in a community world called Free Blocks, and then you were able to get that gnome. Well, this gnome. So I'm trying to dupe it right now, but it won't let me because I don't own the gnome. So that's one of the rarest gnomes in the game. I think it is the rarest actually. But then here comes the Christmas update. The first gnome of the Christmas update was actually this elf gnome. He's pretty cool. And then you can't have an elf without Santa Claus. Like, I'm pretty sure the Santa Claus, like, gnome is my favorite one in the game, besides this mummy gnome. But yeah. And now we've got Snowman. And this is one of my favorites too, because like they put the coal on his like beard, which I think is pretty funny. Now I'm pretty sure that was the last gnome. Wait, no, there's a couple more. So the next gnome is the Valentine's Day gnome. This has to be in my top 5 favorite gnomes. I love this one. I love Valentine's Day for some reason, I don't know, but I just like the style of this gnome, and like if you paint it, then this is also, I'm pretty sure, the first gnome that changes this bottom color. But if you paint it, but that's the Valentine's Day gnome. And then we're moving on to the final 2 gnomes. Now the second to last gnome I actually own, and the mushroom gnome. I don't like this one personally that much, but it just came out in this update. And yeah, now for the final gnome, which is the wizard gnome. This one, they actually changed the beard up a bit, just like on the Santa Claus one. And all of the gnomes look very similar, like until this one, and this one looks similar, this one looks kind of similar, that one doesn't look similar. If you literally take this away, then it is literally the classic gnome. But then that one doesn't even really look like a gnome. This one either. But this is every gnome in Yeeps, Hide, and Seek. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Road to 600 subscribers. And peace.